I don't know. Why do you always have a record of doing the weirdest sounding shit like right before we go live? Alex turned into a turkey literally seconds before we were live. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to
Hello.
the Nerditude Movie Podcast. I'm Matt. We got the boys all in here, and we're taking on the Flash. Much like we haven't done, in all honesty, much comic book movie shit. I wouldn't mind doing the whole DC universe because we never did like Man of Steel or any of those movies. We did do the
Mhm.
Justice League. But yeah, we so this is one of the few comic book movies we've actually done, unfortunately, and I'm very mixed on it
Unfortunately.
overall. But in between that, it's been a couple weeks. What else have you guys been watching?
I finished the What We Do in What We Do.
Yeah,
What We
I
Do in
did as
Shadows. I
well.
finished that.
I have
And
like
then
one more episode.
I started the Chucky show.
Ooh, nice.
And Chucky show is really good.
Yeah, Jen and I are at a crossroads because she wants to watch Mad Men, and I want to start Peaky Blinders.
So we've been slowly working our way through Boardwalk Empire
Oh,
again.
great show.
I need to watch new shows.
Dude, one of my favorite
but-
episodes of that entire series is with what's his name, Bobby Cannavale, when they try to kill him, and he's just like slaughtering dudes buck naked with his dick swinging, and he's just like covered in blood going through the hallways killing guys. One of the most badass fucking scenes in any show ever.
So one thing that we've started watching that is fucking amazing is the live adaptation of One Piece.
Yeah, I don't think I
I've-
have any
I've
interest in
heard-
that.
Good things about it, which I'm surprised.
Dude, it is bonkers. When I think of live adaptations of a anime or a manga or a comic, the top three things I think of, whether people like them or not, the things I consider like the closest to the source, the Watchmen movie,
hmm
the Sandman show, and now One Piece, because it is like if you don't watch anime and you watch One
What's
Piece,
up,
you're
Rusty?
like, what the fuck is going on?
See, I am a little surprised you didn't say Scott Pilgrim in that.
Scott
Oh,
Pilgrim,
yeah,
the Scott
okay,
Pilgrim
that-
movie.
that-
Because
yeah.
that's a
number four.
pretty
Got
faithful one
Nikki
too.
and Rusty in the chat there.
Oh, what's up, Nikki?
Yeah, man. If I made a top 10, those four would be on it. One
Have a
Piece
good night,
is
Nikki.
like it is hard to describe that show or the appeal to that show of anyone who's not read the manga or anime. It is fucking, if there's anything you want to watch while tripping out, that show
I-
is perfect
One
for
Piece.
it.
It does really remind me of, like, you remember the Kung Fu Hustle movie? Like the trailers I've seen reminds me
love
kind of that sort of energy.
Got Fabian in chat.
What's up, Crash?
Kung Fu Hustle.
Crash
Says in the
also, or
live.
Fabian also says that the One Piece is very good, the live adaptation.
Wasn't there a Kung Fu Soccer too?
Yeah, well, there was a Kung Fu
Shaolin
Soccer,
Soccer.
Shaolin
Shaolin
Soccer,
Soccer.
and then there
Yeah,
was
there you go.
Kung Pao Enter the Fist, which is a highly underrated dumbass
That's
movie.
a lot of
That
nuts.
movie's amazing.
Just like, here's the thing: if you've never seen it, and I will never advocate like substance abuse, but it is one of those movies where you like choose whatever, like pick your poison, whatever it is, and have some, and then throw it on, and then as soon as like the villain comes up and he's just like, "My name is Betty," like it's like, what the fuck is happening here? But it's, I don't know, I love that movie
That
still.
is another movie in our list of movies that cannot be made today.
No,
Yep,
at all.
absolutely.
Like, and they literally took an old kung fu movie and just like put him in and dubbed all the lines and released it in real cinemas. Like, this wasn't even like the nowadays of like 30 Bollywood movies plus a few European action movies plus this movie hits Netflix every month. No, this was released in fucking theaters, and the main villain's an alien and he has a talking tongue, and none of it fucking makes sense. But it's a
I
great
don't care
movie.
for Bollywood, even though it's taking over the universe, but I would like to watch that RRR movie.
Dude, Bollywood is stuck literally in the 80s. I saw a clip of a Bollywood action movie where like he's driving a pickup truck and he spins it and then walks out of it, and he's got a grenade cannon and he's firing it at the other, and it's like slow motion explosions and bad CG.
It's
I
probably
put-
got better CG than the Flash.
Dude, the scene
if you
where
think
he
about it, they're
opens the
anime
dimension
movies.
and it's just his head, looked like I edited it into the fucking movie. Like it was, it looked like they did a reface on it. Well, how do you make Zod? What's up, Julian? How do you make Zod years after they make Man of Steel and have him look so much worse?
Yeah.
Like CG wise, he just looks like shit. Anytime the actual actor isn't in the scene, the CG of them is awful. Like all the scenes where they're
Terrible.
time traveling at the end and you're seeing like Supergirl get killed how many times over, none of the CG actually looks like the actors.
No.
RRR was also very good. I just can't, I don't know, man. There's just something about like, I do love the Indonesian martial arts movies, but those are exceptionally brutal. And the Indian action movies are brutal, but in a very cheesy way. So it's hard for me to really get into the like Bollywood Indian like action movies.
There's one
even
on Netflix. I can't remember what it's called, but it's about a police officer who fights corruption, and he smacks people. That's what he does. He literally just
so it's like the
backhands,
Indian walking tall,
palm
but instead of a
slaps. Yeah.
2x4.
Yeah.
I'm
But
okay
they
with
go
that.
Flying. It's hilarious.
Yeah, dude, I have like, and here's the thing: is I'm not saying they're not good. I'm like the king of loving shitty action. Like you all know, Scott Adkins is one of my favorite martial art action guys. But like, there is certain levels of cheese that I'm just like, where I've watched movies and been like, I feel like I should like this movie, but I can't. It's terrible. And that's a lot of. There's not any good action movies coming out. Like, even
No.
on the, like, indie market, that's why I like Scott Adkins, because guys like him put out random, decent martial arts flicks. They're just not pumping them out, though. Review The Room, the one with Brie Larson, or the one with Tommy Wiseau? I did not hit her. Hi, Mark.
Please don't make me sit through a Brie Larson movie.
I did, oh, God. I did watch the movie about The Room with James Franco. I don't remember what it was called, but I did watch that movie. Have you seen his audition
Well,
for the
there's,
Joker? It's awful.
There's gonna be a bunch of stuff coming out in October. That'll be
Dude, the gaming market is
True.
packed for
You
October.
said something about a Thanksgiving movie coming out?
Yeah, I watched the trailer
yeah,
for it.
so
I thought the
so
original
the-
allure to the Thanksgiving trailer though was like all like the B movie celebrities they had.
yeah, so they Eli Roth for some reason over 15 years ago, Grindhouse came out, decided to make the Thanksgiving movie. I wish they would make the movie off the Don't trailer. It's just like if you think about going to the basement. Oh,
I honestly wouldn't mind a full length feature film of Rob Zombie's Nazi werewolf from the SS. I'd watch that fucking movie. He hasn't made a good goddamn movie in a decade. I'd watch that movie.
but the problem is his wife would be the fucking werewolf.
Mm. And it would be talking probably.
I saw him live in concert, and apparently
How was that?
great. He always puts on a great. In fact, I hadn't seen him in a few years, and he was much more energetic this time around. Like he was looked like he was having a lot of fun too. At the end of the show, I guess the House of a Thousand Corpses is coming back to theaters in like a fandom event, the 8th and
Yeah.
11th of October.
Mm.
Oh,
The
shit.
closest one to is going to be at the
But-
Ford Mall.
Dude, we saw Alice Cooper with him, and that motherfucker's 75 and still puts on like the same show he always did, including beheading him and the snake being wrapped around him. Like, all they did was play his hits. I mean, it's a good
The
fucking
snake
show.
Wasn't heavier than him yet? Or
Not
was it a
yet.
smaller snake?
Well, that Jen was like, I don't believe that's his real hair. And I like had to go find proof that it is his real hair. I was like, no, look at it throughout the years. It's the same hair, man.
Shit.
Yeah, 75 years old and he still gets up there and puts on a show. And it's still got theatrics and shit. We saw them at the amphitheater out here. And I did enjoy that. It was like the first concert I've been to in years, for one thing. We missed Filter. We saw
It was
Ministry.
nice weather too, wasn't it?
It was like in the 70s. It was like low 70s. There was a breeze. Like, beautiful night for a show. I don't think we'll get weather that good anymore. It's either going to be hotter or colder. You know what I mean?
I
Yeah,
would've loved
all
to
the
see
extremes.
Ministry.
Yeah. From now on, we're fucked.
I want cold.
I like the
it's
cold
cold
too.
right now, I like
I'm not gonna lie, I'd rather have a warmer winter. Like if we could stay out of the single digit stab you in the face winds, that would be nice. I'm kind of tired of Chicago winters. Like I got a snowblower now, which makes it easier than ever. But I don't want to fucking deal with that snow, man. The hazardous road conditions, just trying not to die going to work.
I
Ugh.
know,
like
getting up from my bed and walking to my computer desk for work in the
Gotta
winter
shovel-
is a
you gotta shovel
nightmare.
all this
Yeah,
snow out of
he
your
says
fucking
this.
house.
Meanwhile, his wife is leaving every day, and like, I just get this image that Giovanni's like, his morning is like just a montage of quiet, like stretches. He goes and takes a piss. He's in the kitchen making, just kind of sitting there yawning, waiting for his coffee. He's got a nice steamy coffee he's sipping from. Meanwhile, her day is like rushing, take a shower. Goes as she's exiting outside. It sounds like there's war zones around them. Like she's just walking to her car.
She's scraping the ice off the fucking window.
Yeah,
she's white knuckling
He's
it
at the
on the
window.
Yeah,
window.
yeah.
Lady pushes
She's
the power
as she's driving to work, she's like just kind of mean mugging everybody with her hand on a pistol next to her, and he's just like, "Ooh, still very hot coffee, very hot coffee." Just like has a wonderful morning every day,
Yeah, that's about right.
and then it's like, then the scene ends with Giovanni's sitting there, and he goes, "Oh, I'm hungry," and she walks in, and he's like, "Did you bring me food?" And she just kind of lets out a sigh, and the scene ends. And then you have a post-credit scene, and it's like, "I got you this." Oh, that would be fun.
Wendy's.
I'm gonna come over. We'll film that. Tell your wife. All right.
You say what you're watching, Giovanni?
Yeah. What have you been
Just a
gigging
bunch of
on?
horror films on
Oh, always on
Shutter,
money.
Screambox.
Dude, I'm running out of the
Crazy
content
ones.
that I actually give a fuck
Upper.
about in those services, though.
I need to watch the RoboCop documentary.
I do too.
Yeah.
I was gonna watch it, and then the one day I got caught up in the American Gladiators documentary on Netflix.
That's a good one.
It is pretty good so far.
Yeah,
I haven't
it's a good
finished
one.
it yet. God, they're all just a bunch of steroid junkies, but
Oh yeah.
They were,
Wait,
yeah.
where's it streaming?
Netflix.
On Netflix.
Oh shit.
It's well done too. They
Does
do
Maestro
capture
look like
kind of
shit
the.
now?
They all kind of look like shit except for the one blonde woman. Like the,
And,
I don't remember their fucking names, but they're all, they all had stupid names. I'm the original Blaze. Get the fuck out of here, Blaze. I want to see the original Blaze and the original Sub-Zero fight.
Was it Zap?
By the way, I saw Ed Boon's on Hot Ones. Does he look? He looks like every day he looks more and more like French Stewart. And if you don't know what I mean, go Google French Stewart and then look up the Hot Ones with Ed Boon. Kind of a boring interview on top of it, but they did show the clip of Van Damme's skin for MK1. Which, I mean,
There was a big article out saying MK1 characters leaked, and everybody's like, they leaked it. They just told everybody. They didn't
yeah, I
leak it."
believe they announced the DLC.
Yeah,
Hey guys,
they
we're
showed it off.
officially leaking it on our official Twitter.
So was Batista just in a commercial? Or
I think
is
he's
he
just in the
game?
commercial.
I'm hoping it's just in the commercial.
Did you guys hear that people were calling him fat from Guardians 3?
Yeah.
I'm not fat. He's just on Twitter like, fuck you, I'm not fat. Just like replying to random people. I'm
Hey,
55 years
taking it
old,
well.
bro. It's hard.
There's an interview with Jason Momoa where people called him like out of shape in the new Fast and Furious, and his response is so perfect. He's like, "If people are not paying me, I'm not gonna work out." It's like, I get it. Like,
I think that's fair. I mean, isn't that the whole point of being like a celebrity? Like, sure, if you're gonna pay me, I'll get in shape for a role. But if not, I'm a celebrity. I don't need to work out.
That is true.
'cause
Yeah, no, that's
Not
absolutely true.
unless you're Dwayne Johnson.
Well, you gotta
I mean,
remember his
that's-
entire identity is tied to his physique. If Dwayne Johnson was a fucking skinny dude with no muscle, he wouldn't be who he is.
that's
What's that?
that's one of the reasons Ben Affleck stopped being Batman. He's like, dude, I'm old. I can't
just wanna
do
enjoy
these
my
workouts
cigarettes.
like the.
He does seem
Fucking
like the
young
type
dude.
of dude that loves a good whiskey and I don't know, 6 to 10 packs of cigarettes a day.
Is that why Ben Affleck's face was CG'd onto a body of Batman for the Flash? Because that's what it looked like. the
Dude,
whole
he
time.
was so like
No,
he was so much thinner
His
looking
face
in
was
the
like
real
being
when he was the real life Bruce Wayne talking to the Flash. He did look noticeably thinner than he did in the Snyder. Like, I gotta feel like Snyder makes all of his actors work out at this point. Like, you want to be in my
Yeah.
movie, you better hit the weights, motherfucker.
I have issues with that Batman scene, but I also thought it was cool.
Here's the thing, okay? My biggest problem with this movie entirely, it's not even the shitty CG, which goes from tolerable to laughable, frankly.
Yeah, it's really bad.
My biggest problem is the whole time they're just basically trying to emulate what Snyder did, and they don't do as good as what he did. So it's like you oust him from the universe, something he created basically, and then the people you bring in try to emulate his style. And everybody bitches about Snyder's music videos, right? How come every action scene had some pop rock song in it? That's not
Yeah.
doing the same thing but worse. Like he, at least when he did them well. Like sure, you could say he's got music videos in his movies. They're fucking cool.
Yeah.
This wasn't cool. And like the big climatic action set piece, beyond being just overly convoluted, was underwhelming, like by a long shot.
Not only that, if you look at Snyder's, and this is the one thing that pissed me off in this movie a lot. If you look at Snyder's Flash slow-mo scene, and then you look at every slow-mo scene in this movie, it's like China and a bowl of shit. Like it's really bad in this movie. It's they don't know how to do it properly. The slowdowns, the CG looked worse. And can we talk about the way that actor runs? Who the fuck came up with that run?
Why did he start the whole thing where he had to do the pose?
Well, so
Like,
the
Who
up in the
came up
air
with
and-
that
the,
run?
the
Like,
theory is because technically his stride goes from like a normal running stride to miles at a time. He almost is ice skating. That's what the running formula is, but it's all stupid. It's
hate
dumb.
I
so
hate it.
bad.
I hate
It's
it,
so
and them
bad.
them referencing it and having like an inside joke in the movie just made it even worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's yeah. The best parts about this movie, and I think is the real problem too, don't have the Flash in them at all. Like the best scenes of this movie are
Yes.
like the Michael Keaton Batman scenes. Even the Supergirl scene had more levity to it than any fucking scenes of Flash in the movie at all. The double Barry Allen concept is too goofy. Like the two of them together the whole time is just it's kind of boring and it's far too much of the movie.
They should have followed the time cop thing. You can't occupy the same space at the same time.
Well, but the problem is that's the whole movie though, right? Like you have like a little bit of Batman, a little bit of Barry Allen's before he collapsed the time continuum, and then it's all Barry Allen with himself acting zany and stupid and getting powers and losing powers, and it's like, but it doesn't work because I think a big part of it is Ezra Miller in this movie is not nearly as likable as he was in the Justice League movie, either version. Whatever happened in
No.
between, the character himself doesn't have the same charm as he did when you first saw him in these movies.
It has to be the director because
And the writing team. And you know Snyder's deep into the writing too. So like
Dude,
this
I-
is another movie that feels the enormous weight of Zack Snyder not being involved.
I honestly, I feel the most bad for Andy Muschietti, because when he got this project, I think Ezra was cast as the Flash in 2016. This movie kept getting shelved, so there has to have been points in the development of this movie where it was like, all right, this is the plan. Oh, Zach's out. Okay, now I got to do this. Oh, Ezra has a scandal.
I will
Oh,
say
HBO is collapsing.
I will say to Andy's credit, the action scenes in the movie are well done. Like the
Oh,
Michael Keaton Batman scene when he takes out the Russian military base full of dudes, awesome. The Supergirl action scenes, pretty awesome. The problem with those scenes are Man of Steel came out when? Was it 05? 08? Somewhere around there? And Zod in 2023 looks worse. How?
Yeah, he looks so bad.
But that's also the annoying thing is that's 3 times in 3 movies where we've seen the Man of Steel plot with the World Engine, and it's like, did we need to use that plot again? Like,
Well, you're
no,
trying to
like,
you erased Zack Snyder from the universe, yet you're still working upon the foundations that he created. How like
Yeah.
this movie has no place in the James Gunn universe. So between the controversy,
supposedly.
well, I mean that's the other thing is if they bring back Ezra Miller, dude, I've lost all faith in Gunn. Like enough is enough. Get rid of the fucking psychopath. If you're gonna reboot everything, then reboot everything. The problem is they still have Aquaman 2 in the hanging. And the last time you see Aquaman in the DC universe before his movie, if it ever releases, is he's a drunken buffoon in an after credit scene at the end of Flash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and he falls asleep
My
in a puddle of water.
Why? How? Why would you lead it? I mean, and I will say, I believe Aquaman was supposed to release before the Flash, so maybe there's something in between the two that would explain that behavior. But at this point, because of the way they're releasing them, the last thing you see of Aquaman is he's laying in a puddle, a drunken piece of shit asking for more beer. Why?
my issue from like a DC Comics fan, because I'm a huge DC Comics fan. There's two big issues with this movie. One is the plot is loosely based off of the Flashpoint paradox,
which is a
one of
phenomenal story.
Isn't
it's
that what
one
the
of
show
the
based
best.
itself off of?
So there's a cartoon adaptation of it, but it
Flashpoint Paradox.
involves the Bizarro Batman. Bruce Wayne's dad is Batman, and he uses guns and fucking shoots and kills villains. It has Eobard Thawne, Reverse Flash.
Are you guys familiar with the comic book storyline where Batman kills Joker? So the whole thing is Superman catches up with him. He's about to kill Joker. Batman convinces him not to, and then like on the car ride back to Gotham City Prison or wherever, Joker says basically like, "Oh, he's got a child coming in. I can't wait to see him when he's born." And Batman straight up breaks his fucking neck right there in the seat. He's in prison. Superman shows up and it was like, "Why'd you kill him, bro?" And he's like, "Because he told me that once your kid was born, he was going to try to do what he did again to you, and he was going to succeed that time, and I couldn't let it happen." Superman breaks through the prison and is just like, "You could be freed, right? Just walks through the fucking wall." And then he's basically like, "Bruce, you could have your freedom." And Bruce is like, he gives him a hug, and he's like, "Nah." He's like, "Please leave." And it's just like, there are really cool storylines like that will never, like, Thor, when he becomes the god of fists or whatever they fucking call him, because Majora won't listen to him, so he starts beating the shit out of Majora. He gets, I don't remember what the guy that approaches him, but he approaches him and tells him, you need to basically turn your fists into the same strength as Majora, to the point where he's the whole time he's beating the fuck out of the hammer until the hammer can't take anymore and starts trying to run away from his strikes until Thor beats the shit out of the hammer enough and destroys its will. And then he becomes the god of fists, where he doesn't even use a hammer anymore. He just beats the shit out of people with his fists. Like, there's so many random fucking storylines that will never be seen. I mean, we did get Fat Thor, which is pretty fun. I liked Fat Thor.
To the credit of this movie, and it's sad that it's in this movie, I think that DC, first of all, they need to, like every superhero movie, fix your CG. But
Very
I
much
think
so.
they need to do like team ups, because it was cool seeing team ups, and I don't see a lot of other movies, superhero movies, really pulling that in.
Well,
like properly.
but that's how Marvel built up the Marvel universe. You got to remember, Tony Stark didn't start in Iron Man. He was in Edward Norton's Incredible Hulk as a post-credit scene.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how
Captain America started at the end of Hulk as well.
Yeah, they like that's how they like you gotta. That's how you kind of gotta build the universe, right? And like I think that's what Snyder was really trying to do when he did Batman vs Superman. And the idea was is you start bringing more, more and more in from around. But him never putting Joker in a Batman movie, I do think was a mistake. I understand that he's an overused villain in every Batman, especially since Ledger. But there needs to be a certain level of fan service. I think that there was some kind of like nonsensical, like we need to do something different. It's like, well, you don't always need to do something different, but do it well, and you would have succeeded on a better level.
But I get Giovanni's point. Like, so the classic superhero team up, like for the Flash, which would have been perfect. I think you can't have a Flash that works if you're a DC Comics fan without Green Lantern.
I was wondering the same thing. Yeah.
In all the comics, especially the more recent ones, Hal Jordan and Barry Allen, like it's buddy cop. Like all of their shit is super cool when they're together. And I think you can make these comic book movies where you just have like a plot where it's like Batman and someone else. Like it doesn't need to be DC doesn't need to copy Marvel. It doesn't need to be a grand epic thing. Just give me a plot where we get two superheroes that team up and the writing is good and the CG is good.
Hmm.
It doesn't need to, like, because Marvel's thing is like, you want 9 superheroes in your movie and none of them have good writing, and it's just like blah. Like,
We've
I
got the
hope
money to
James
pay
Gunn.
9 actors.
I don't think the answer for DC is we need to be the MCU. I'm
No.
hoping Gunn. 'Cause the Guardian movies kind of have that element of Gunn's like, I want to take these characters and play with him. So I hope he does that.
I mean, the Guardians
Doesn't
movies are all great, and
oversaturate.
you could argue Guardians 3 is the best Marvel product since the last Spider-Man. I mean, those two
I was
movies
about to
kind of
say, yep.
stand out as the last two decent Marvel products they put out.
Guardians
I
3
Those,
have-
that is
one.
absolutely true. Those
I
are the
have-
last good ones.
I have not watched it. I honestly haven't seen anything of the last phase.
Dude, it might as well be completely disconnected from everything else that's going on. There's really no Thor's not in it. There's really no mention. The only thing you need to know is Gamora, the whole thing with Gamora from Endgame, and it's its
Well,
own movie.
I don't understand why Marvel is in this last phase. They're doing this separation thing. They're trying to pull themselves away from the greatness that was, the End Game and the Thanos.
Do you remember when
storyline.
Avengers first came out? How awesome it was to see that in theaters.
Yeah, like you don't have to pull yourself away from that. You can give us these characters that we've never seen before, awesome, but you need to do it right. Like you need to pull them in correctly.
And I mean, I don't know what the right path for Marvel is at this point because they've invested so much in their TV shows and shit and the shared storylines that like their products have become so underwhelming. Secret Invasion, which should have been, from what I understood, according to the comic books, the return of like Tony Stark from alternate universes and all these different people, ended up being a shit show of a TV show.
But the problem is Gunn's already talking about doing that shit. He wants a connected universe where the cartoons and and it's like, no, I don't need that. I don't need that.
But and it's
Don't
all still
do
probably
that.
under the same constraint of like, for one thing, I don't understand why superhero movies in this day and age are still afraid of that rated R moniker. Like, I do give the Kraven the Hunter movie credit for being rated R, even though it does look like it's going to be a piece of shit. But like, Venom 2 with Carnage in it should have been a rated R bloodbath.
Yep.
Like Blade
Don't
should
ever
be,
get
Blade should be a
Woody
rated R
Harrelson away.
bloodbath. Like I think, and I know it's a stupid thing maybe to bitch about, but I think if Raid isn't a rated R or Blade isn't a rated R bloodbath, what the fuck's the point? Why are
Woody Harrelson, right?
Yeah, Woody Harrelson as Blade.
Blade.
Yeah, I was born ready, motherfucker. Yeah, Owen Wilson is Blade. Wow, so you guys can't walk in the daylight, huh? Wow.
Do you really think they will keep Ezra Miller as Flash?
No.
I hope
No,
they don't.
I think everything's done, and if he does, I think it's a big mistake. I don't understand why you would remove everybody else from that shared universe that did work and then keep him, which is arguably one of the few actors in the entire DC universe that was made that just is a piece of shit.
I was reading today that when Ezra Miller was cast as the Flash in 2016, that's the same year that the TV show came out with Gustin Austin and whatever his name is, Grant Austin.
Grant Gustin.
Grant Gustin. Shit, I can't fucking
Augustus
use his name
Gloop.
right.
Who is, I will say it right now, is a better Barry Allen.
Better Barry Allen. But they said that it started that in 2006, and then they both ended this year, and the movie came out at the same time as when it ended. And the reason why they asked, or the WB asked them to wait, who runs the Flash movie? Who owns it?
WB.
WB. And the TV show was done by somebody else, so that's what it was. They said, hey, can you put Ezra Miller in the Flashpoint that you're doing? Because they wanted it to tie into the story for this movie.
I know,
So
but they
they
don't
used him in
show
TV.
Grant in the
Yeah,
movie.
But
At
they
all.
but they do they show him from the movie in the TV show.
Yeah, they pull him into the
No,
show.
I know, but
Yeah.
I know of the Flash TV show, and I never cared to watch it, but I always thought like, oh, that dude looks like a good Barry Allen. And when it got to the end of this movie where the cameos just went weird,
Mm-hmm.
and they didn't show Grant Gustin, I was like, I That's kind of a fuck you to that guy.
So
Yeah.
I am gonna ask this. They supposedly say Nicolas Cage came in to film his scenes, right? If that's the case, then how come Nicolas Cage's Superman looks so much faker than Christopher Reeve?
Yeah.
Like, it just
I'm
shows that they used Christopher Reeve's CG likeness, right, from an old movie, probably film stock. And then if they, like, maybe they did film his shit live, and that's why it was so shitty looking compared to Christopher Reeve, because he looked so, like, he looked like he was in a video game version of Superman.
And I'm not gonna.
Here's a thing. Another question: why was that whole scene paying homage to just Superman?
Yeah, I don't know that.
Like
because
you
there
see
was-
the old
Well-
Adam West Batman real quick.
you do. You hear him,
But like,
too.
where was like they had so many other
was the original
DC
Flash in
characters
there.
Well, is the whole...
yeah, that they could have pulled from.
Also, the whole thing where Kal-El was captured mid-space by Zod and murdered as a baby. What a fucking bummer.
Yeah.
Like, what a bummer of a storyline, Cap, where Zod's just like, the infant did not make it. Like, the way he even said it was just kind of like, oh, the dead baby thing again. Like, he's heard it over and over throughout space. One of his dudes was like, did we really have to kill the baby? And he's just like, look, I did what I had to.
Well, one of the stories for Superman and Kara is she was sent to protect him, but she got stuck in a time loop or some shit,
Mhm.
and so she didn't age as fast as he did. And when she shows up, she's younger than Superman.
See, I like the Injustice storyline where she's already older than he is, and they both get shot off the fucking Krypton, and she gets shot into a weird place in space, and he gets sent to Earth, and the whole time, like, when you meet her compared to when you meet him is her, like, finding her way to him. But it's like, 25 years later, and he's a full-grown Superman guy now. I kind of like that element of it, but it's like, all you get is Supergirl, and then Zod's, like I said, just like, yeah, we killed him. He threw him in a dumpster. He's been dead for a while now. It's like, fuck.
Her plot in that movie is loosely taken from a comic where Red Sun, where Clark Kent lands in Mother Russia instead of
Instead of
the United States.
Also,
How,
the whole thing with Batman at the end of the, like, before they go back in time when he's like, I'm going down, but not alone. And then he just kills himself? Like, what the fuck? What? And, like, I knew they were going to reverse it with the time travel bullshit. But it's just like, what is going on in this stupid fucking movie? Like, the story in this movie is stupid.
yeah, I don't know how I feel about Michael Keaton being a badass Batman at his age. It was just kind
He
of
really wasn't, though. Like, I mean, the scene in the Russian thing was pretty cool, and it was very much like the original Batman movie. I did enjoy the Easter egg of the Joker bag. Like, hey, his bag laughs. Like, little shit like that was cool, and I do think this director does a good job at handling action scenes, but I feel like the problem with the action scenes in this movie is stylistically, they're framed to kind of be like what Zack Snyder created.
Yeah, I do. My favorite action scene in this, though, and it's what has me excited for Andy doing the Brave and the Bold, is Ben Affleck's Batman scene, his action scene, his first appearance.
Ever.
Yeah, the suit looked awful.
It does.
but-
Yeah, it looks weird. Like, people make
Yeah,
fun of
but-
the Snyder suit, but it doesn't look great in this one.
Oh, it looks terrible. It's practical though. It's got skid plates on it. It looks fucking terrible. But that scene was fucking awesome, and I hope he does something more. But also, that's like an homage to Snyder as well. Like that whole action scene.
Hmm.
That's the thing, is every cool, like, action scene in this movie is A, done in the vein of Snyder, and B, not about the Flash. Like, Michael Keaton Batman stuff's cool. The then the future Flash which I called right away, by the way. As soon as the other Barry took the thing in his arm, I was like, oh shit, that's that's gonna be him in the future. Watch.
yeah.
And sure enough, like, the whole paradox they create in the movies, just kind of the way they, like, put it together, and then it's over. Like, oh, we fixed it. I gotta go to court and see that. Like, he's still fucked with the past, though.
Yeah. Well, that's
Yeah,
why.
at the end, he doesn't learn his lesson. Spoiler alert: he still doesn't learn his
Yeah,
lesson.
he gets his father acquitted because he puts the tomatoes on a different shelf. Meanwhile, if the tomatoes are always on that shelf throughout the course of 20 years, does a can fall on somebody and kill him? Like, that's the thing, is you still fucked with the past.
Yeah.
Well, that's why we get George Clooney Batman at the end.
Yep.
True.
But you know what? I would have much rather it been Val Kilmer.
But,
They could've done
yeah,
Val
little
Kilmer.
hard,
No.
though.
With CG,
No, they could have had Val Kilmer come in and done fucking
the AI
what's
voice.
the Batman? The future Batman? Where the kid comes in. Val Kilmer could have been
Batman
old.
Beyond.
Yes, they could have done a Batman
All right.
Beyond reference.
Yeah, I still think it would have been way funnier. Like, maybe not better, but funnier if it was like Chris
No,
Pratt.
Don't you? Oh,
Like, you imagine if
thought
he
you
took
were
like
gonna
one of the
say-
Marvel. Well, who? Oh, Val Kilmer with the voice box. Hello, Barry. Who the fuck are you? Ha, that's funny, Barry. Ha 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 ha.
I'm Bruce.
Yeah, I'm Bruce Wayne, of course. He just sounds like the guy from South Park.
I'm sorry. In my head, I thought you. I just pictured you going there immediately.
No, I thought if it were me, if I were James Gunn, I'd have been like, all right, now that I run this bitch, one of the changes we're making is I want Chris Pratt to be Bruce Wayne at the end of the movie, just because it would have made me like if I'm James Gunn, I would have laughed my ass off seeing that in the theaters, just because that really is a fuck you to Marvel. Like, not only did I just take this actor who likes me more than you, but I made him fucking Batman. Even in just this little sliver, he's still technically fucking Batman. Also, how is like at the end of Guardians 3, it says Star-Lord will return. How?
Yeah.
In what?
Anthony hasn't seen it yet.
Well, I didn't spoil anything. I mean, it's not like
I know, but I'm,
you just know that he
he's not
doesn't
gonna have an
die.
answer for it.
I'm not that dude. That's like no spoilers.
No, that's him. That's Alex. The fucking motherfucker doesn't
Yeah.
like spoilers for movies 15 years
KLT
old.
as charged.
Ain't no spoilers, man. The Rock is awesome, but I haven't finished it. Really, The Rock from '97? And then it goes into a story on why he never finished it. Well, I was watching it, and the fucking sprinkler went off, and I hated it for a decade, and then I saw part of it in a hotel room on the TV and kind of liked it.
I do want to see Blue Beetle, to be honest.
Man, there's only so
that's-
much George Lopez I can take with his stereotypical. Like, he's like, there's Cheech Marin, and then there's like George Lopez is the wannabe Cheech Marin.
I think that comes out the 19th,
So I'm gonna say
streaming?
right now,
Like,
September 19th.
where is that gonna land? Is that HBO as
streaming.
well?
Play HBO.
No
I can
shit, huh?
imagine.
if you grew up watching Power Rangers, Beetleborgs,
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Guyver, you're gonna like Blue Beetle.
it does look
Star
pretty
Kid.
decent for what it is.
Star
I mean,
Kid, yeah,
but it's another one of those things of like, what's the point of even doing it?
yeah, it was. Yeah, I saw it, and yeah, at the end of it, I'm like, what was the
Like,
point? of
yeah, that
this?
was a fun movie, but this, because they've conditioned everybody that everything's so got to be connected, a one-off movie like that comes out and it's like, all right, cool.
See, and that's why I think we don't need connected movies. Like if I was James Gunn, I would release a bunch of DC movies and then you can sprinkle hints and stuff that there's a connected universe, and then maybe at the end it's a multiverse, but
Well,
I'm tired of being like, okay, I need to see this, I need to
why,
see
why
that.
not mix it up in like what Giovanni was saying, where you get people doing a solo. I'm fashionably late, fellows. Hope you're having a good evening. We are, Joel. How are you doing? But the thing is, why not do it where everybody gets a solo movie, and then you can kind of pepper in another character, and then do the pairings. Like, don't do a Man of Steel and then pepper in a universe. Do a Man of Steel and pepper in the idea that Batman exists. And you
Yeah,
talk
just
about
keep it
Gotham a
theme
little
up.
bit. And then eventually you do a movie that is Batman versus Superman. And then they do another solo movie of their own shit. That sort of thing. Instead of like, that's where Marvel fucked up, is they had that sort of path of like everybody gets a solo, we sprinkle in the other characters, and then after Iron Man 2, everything became about feeding the Avengers.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I think DC can corner that because nobody else does it. And I think DC can do it very well, especially how interconnected the Justice League is. It would make sense
Well,
to just pepper in a couple characters here and
Well,
there.
create some mystery at the end of Superman. Whatever the reboot is, have him just, so what you gonna be doing next, Clark? And say, oh, I'm going off to Gotham City to investigate a news story on this Cape Crusader.
Yeah.
You know, and then you do a Batman movie where, you know, Bruce Wayne is interviewed by Clark Kent, just kind of there. You know what I mean? Like, you can do it and have it not be such of like an overfilled piece of shit. Like, you can do it and still have some mystery to the point of like when those two characters do eventually meet in the superhero garb, it actually has a fucking impact. Like, I thought the Batman
I
vs
agree.
Superman, even though people didn't like that movie, I think it did a pretty decent job of the two heads meeting. I think the Batman scenes in that movie were fucking badass. Like, I like the new Batman, the Matt Reeves one, but the Snyder Batman scenes had packed a serious fucking punch. Like, they were
Yeah, I
awesome.
remember when that came out, there was a lot of Batman doesn't kill people, and for those people, it's like, have you read a Batman
Yeah,
comic?
come on.
Batman kills a
Batman
lot of
kills
people.
people. Yeah, Batman kills people all the time.
I'm so
Isn't that why
interested.
Superman was against Batman, like because he doesn't have any laws
Yeah.
for himself.
Well, yeah, but then that
Mm.
also led into the other stories of like when you get Dark Superman after Lois gets killed by the Joker, where basically Superman's like, "Fuck it, all villains gotta die," and then Batman's the only one that's like, "Yo, we shouldn't be killing these people." Like I think that's the Injustice 2 storyline. Is Superman's
Is that why
white?
he creates the
Yeah,
gauntlets of fucking kryptonite?
I don't remember how that storyline ends. I just remember that Superman, Lois is killed by Joker. Superman murders him, and then goes on to like a dark path of where he just becomes a villain hunter who just straight up murders him. And Batman throughout the game is like the only one trying to like wrangle the other superheroes that have taken Superman's side and like stopping Superman from just basically becoming a fucking god and doing whatever he wants.
Trying to see who the villain in the new Superman movie most likely is going to
Probably
be.
Lex Luthor.
Yeah,
While you
Luthor
look that up,
and,
speaking of
Ugly.
the new Batman, it's still going to be a detective movie, and I believe they're bringing in a Robin.
yeah, so it's going to be based off.
I did
Grant.
hear a rumor of a Robin, and I don't know if it was a bullshit like joke or not, but they were saying Tyrese.
so it's gonna be Grant Morrison's his comic run is called Brave and the Bold, and it's about a middle-aged Batman and Damian Wayne, his son. Which
Wait,
I
so the new Batman
fucking
movie is going to be that far into the future? How does it connect to the Penguin show?
well, no. So according to Gunn, Reeves is going to have his own.
Oh, this is a
universe,
different
essentially.
Batman. Oh, this is a gun
Yeah,
Batman movie.
yeah.
Okay, I thought you were talking about the next Reeves iteration. I was like, what?
No,
Because
so
I've already
so-
heard that Joker 2 is a musical, and I'm kind of like, fucking.
So it's for both of them. Reeves wants to bring in Robin, but a different Robin, most likely Dick Grayson. Gunn wants to bring in Damian Wayne, so we're gonna see two Robins.
I've also heard rumors of Mr. Freeze making an appearance in the next Matt Reeves Batman. I am interested to see what they do with the HBO Penguin show, because I thought Colin
I'm
Farrell was
excited
pretty
for
good in that role.
Penguin show. I'm excited to see it.
But when is that even supposed to come out? Like that, it's gone dark.
Well, I mean, that gets on the topic of the writers' strike and all that shit.
Yeah,
Everything's
now
probably
with the
gonna be
writers' strike.
delayed for at least a couple years.
Fuck
Unless
'em.
you're AMC and create your own little loopholes.
Honestly, dude,
So you can
fuck
film
them. Like,
TV
I love
shows.
cinema, but fuck them.
Yeah, those loopholes, man. I don't understand how they're fucking getting movies passed. I don't know what's going on. If they were pre-existing agreements or
It's all about
because
the
there's
dollar,
certain
man.
budget
This
line.
is all agreements that are happening right now,
I'm-
saying just for now.
They're paid scabs,
I'm-
man.
Oh,
I'm
man.
kind of down the middle in that I think the situation sucks, but also the whole Hollywood industry deserves this at the same time.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess
I agree.
one of the things I always keep thinking that I think annoys me the most is like the entertainment industry is the only industry when you talk about residuals. Like, and I use this, it's maybe not a fair example, but a construction worker can't walk by a building and go, "Oh yeah, I still get paid because this building is up." Yeah, I get $25 every month because this building stands here. Like, there's no industry on the world except the entertainment industry that deals in residuals. And I do get what the actors are saying, you know, Aaron Paul, right? But the problem
Yeah.
is it's guys like Aaron Paul that piss me off because it's like you made millions from the run of Breaking Bad on TV. You're making millions from the
Netflix.
residuals. Well, he doesn't make anything from Netflix.
I know, but I'm saying like he made money off of Netflix though.
The movie, yeah, the
He didn't-
Netflix
he didn't
movie.
he didn't make any.
And now
residuals.
he's got, he's a millionaire. He never has to worry about money. And he's the face of the struggle saying, oh, I don't make any residuals from the move to Netflix. You don't have any investment in it either. You're not a producer. What did you put in to have this show? Because as far as I feel, when you're talking business, the rights of the show are to the owners of the show. What other industry is there where it's, oh, you as a worker granted a portion of this that isn't a stock? Like, that's the crazy thing about it. And it's like the small actors, the small writers who, just show up in a show and, it gets bought by Netflix. I agree with that, where you can make an entire show, plan on selling it to HBO, and then Netflix buys it up, and because there's nothing in your contract that talks about Netflix, you get zero residuals for it. That sort of situation I will agree with. But once again, I'm supposed to feel bad for these people, the same people that said that if you don't get the vaccine, you should die. Like the same Marvel writers who hate me because I'm just a white guy. Like, I don't feel bad for them.
That's the whole thing where the lawyers come into place. Their lawyers not looking at the future. Should something change in how this is owned?
Well, yeah, their agents.
X person should take result.
Where's the agents there to help them? Go, no, we need to talk about this contract. Like, isn't that where it starts? Where, like, if you're an actor and they're like, well, this is going to go on Netflix, just go, no, I want it in my contract. Then every click or every view or whatever of this program, I get set amount of money.
Anything over 30 minutes of playtime goes to me.
Yeah, if the movie is viewed in completion, then I should get a bonus. Yeah, like that. Like, I agree with that. That where if shit's being, especially stuff that like shows that used to go into the ether and just do repeats on different networks, if they go to Netflix and like Full House, I guarantee you they're not getting residuals from Full House. So like I can or I'm sorry, Full House on Netflix. If Full House is on TBS or some shit, you'll still get residuals. But if it's anything that's happening on Netflix, you get nothing from that.
That's insane, man.
Which I agree, that needs to be changed. But I'm sorry, you shouldn't be having Sean Astin as your face. You shouldn't be having Aaron Paul as your face. You shouldn't have Bryan Cranston as your face. These are all multi-millionaires that don't represent the people you say are the actual ones struggling.
So I think what it is it falls in the whole renting thing, like how Blockbuster was with Netflix is still the renting thing, but now it's not like that. They're a streaming service now.
Yeah.
And they're going under the guise before that they're going under the guise of it's a rental place. Now it's not. It's completely fucking streaming. So everything should change.
Well, the truth of it is, despite the fact that these streaming services don't release statistics, they're still statistics. They're still somewhere in their statistics counting how many views per program. You know what I mean? So like, you can't tell me they don't have the technology to quantify it to pay these people. Even if it's, if you have a movie that gets 5 million clicks throughout its life on Netflix, the actor should be making something per click.
Well, that's what blows my mind. Like, they're keeping track of that information, and to this day, we still have none of that information for any streaming services.
None.
I'm
blown away.
Budget? There's no budget.
Yeah, they release nothing.
Dig deep.
And that's a problem. I think if one of the things that is forced to come out with new contracts is that streaming services have to be a little bit more transparent about what's going on, I say that's a positive. Because it is bullshit where it's like, oh, you made a movie and it fell through at another studio, so Netflix bought it, and that's just it. You don't get dick after that. Even though you as an actor went in even director maybe, and writers, went into that movie thinking this is going to be a theatrical release, and look at who was that that sued, Scarlett Johansson sued because for over Disney Plus. That's a very real argument. The problem is you have the wrong people making these arguments. Scarlett Johansson, which because of Marvel is a multi-millionaire, way over. You have her representing that, and she's right in that argument. She made it when she signed on for that movie. She signed on for that movie as it was going to be treated like every other Marvel product and have a big theatrical release and a spectacle and blah, blah, blah. And then Disney Plus decided to release it, and all that was taken away. She's got a point. Do I like her? No. And that's a big problem because Hollywood actors need people on their side for this sort of shit. And the more unlikable you are, the less people you have on your side. Like, her struggle, if you notice, even the media was like, blah blah, fuck off. We'll talk about it for a week and then fuck off because you're like nobody likes you. That's the weird thing about like it's a double-edged sword. It's a popularity contest. That's why Chris Pratt was in his prime and people are literally hating him because he eats a sandwich.
I just don't like him because he does Mario's voice.
I did appreciate in Mario how they at least explain the fact that that's the whole time it's been a fake voice. Where, you know, when they do the
And
commercial,
don't
it's
get me
like, do you
wrong,
think
that
that's a
whole
bit
movie-
much?
That whole movie was amazing.
I did enjoy the Mario
Like,
movie.
the Mario movie was amazing. I just can't get past his voice.
I like Chris
Yeah,
Pratt. I think Chris Pratt's problem was he got way overexposed for the wrong movies. Like, he really went into that PG-13 action hero niche, and I would have loved to rather seen him in, like, rated, like, a Predator reboot or some shit, you know what I mean? Like,
That would've been
something
awesome.
with some
What do
fucking
you-
balls to it.
What about him being the lead for Extraction instead of fucking what's his name?
I haven't seen the sequel, but Hemsworth did a decent job in the first one. I mean, the problem with action movies
Just
nowadays
watched the
is,
first
like,
one.
one way or another, they're all kind of trying to mimic John Wick.
That
Like,
is
you
true,
know,
yeah.
Like the gung fu thing is like no matter what the action movie is, it's there somewhere.
Oh, I want to review Equilibrium now. Damn it.
So we did review Virtuosity, right?
Yes,
You guys did, yeah.
Okay,
I think we should do a re-review of
that and Equilibrium
Area of
together.
Virtuosity and Equilibrium.
Oh, I love Equilibrium.
I don't know how we
So
haven't
good.
done Equilibrium.
I've
I
recommended
think we
it a couple
always
times.
I think we always talked about it, but we didn't have something that fit with it.
So you would say Equilibrium and Virtuosity, huh?
The Matrix. Just kidding.
I mean, that would be the optimal pairing for Equilibrium, it being a Matrix
Yeah.
ripoff.
It's very
but-
much an early. It's an early concept.
I mean, well, you gotta remember, Equilibrium is essentially Fahrenheit 451 with
Yeah.
gung fu.
I've never watched that movie.
What?
Fahrenheit 451.
Oh,
Not
what,
good.
you read the book? Read the book.
No, I have not. I have not read the book.
Oh,
The
you
book
know,
is really good.
don't watch the movie. Read the book.
Yeah, read
The book is what's happening in reality right now.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, no, absolutely is.
Well,
It's
people
true.
don't when you say history repeats itself, people go, "Oh yeah, ha, ha, ha." They don't understand that the Nazis were very much in that same vein of burning all things that wasn't German propaganda and destroying art, and like people don't understand history does repeat itself. And right now, it's not the Nazis, but we're in a very weird period where, depending on what the art is, half of the populace wants it destroyed.
My wife and several libraries are taking like a media and sensitivity training for people coming in and throwing fits about books. So
Oh my god.
Here's the thing. I feel like a library is a place where all things should be able to be found.
Yeah.
I think certain books in a school, depending on the age bracket, like a high school is a different story. But if you're talking junior, you know, where it's pre-K through 5th grade, maybe we don't need the books where people are drawn sucking each other's dicks in them. But a library is really a place that, like, you should be able to find. I mean, I think libraries should be bigger. I think libraries should be the place that you find all sorts of shit, because you actually have to find it. That is somebody seeking out written literature and material, and I don't think libraries should be touched. I think it's pretty ridiculous that people want books banned out of libraries. I mean, am I pro drag queen reading time at a library? No. Am I pro removing literature that people no longer can seek out because they hurt your opinion or your feelings? No. I think it's a weird gray area where everything gets conflated too. One thing bleeds into another, and we're all a bunch of assholes too. Let's not forget, everybody's an asshole nowadays.
Well, at least the good thing is that in the state of Illinois, no books are bannable in the library now.
Yeah, I really do feel like a library is a place where
You should
Though-
be able to ban the customers that come in, though.
yeah,
Okay.
I'll tell you that much. You should be able to
Yeah.
ban people.
I know,
But I think a library is a place where I should be able to go to and be able to find even kind of an obscure book. If it's still in print of any kind, I should be able to find it. And the truth is,
So
I
what-
know American libraries aren't very great.
when I say
No.
ban people that come in, I mean based on their actions of how they represent themselves
Yeah.
in the place.
And if they're
Because it is
white.
a place of business, you but it's a place of business, and you should represent yourself, in a way that's good for the public.
Well, not only that, but like you are using a public service. Like these are shared for the public. So if you're a dick, you're being a dick to the public. You're just being a piece of shit. A library should say like every time we get a book back, the pages are sticky. You don't get to fucking borrow anymore.
I was at a library with my oldest daughter when this is like 5-6 years ago, and I was with her waiting for her to pick a book out, and we're walking through the library, and there was a guy reading a paper, an old ass man, and a little kid was reading the story. He like really quiet to his tutor, and he kept stuttering. And the guy goes, "Oh, you just say the goddamn word already?" And I looked at the guy and I was like, "Why don't you shut the fuck up?" Like I was about to start fighting, and my kid's like grabbing my arm, pulling me. She's like, "Dad, don't." Oh God.
Yeah, I don't know.
Those kind of people should be like kicked out of the place for good.
The book banning thing is a little weird. Like I do understand banning certain books from certain age groups in schools. And it's not just, LGBTQ material. If there was a book, being read to fourth graders about a stripper who had to hook her way to success, I wouldn't want that being read to them either. But a library,
I fully understand what Matt's saying, and it's not even a political thing.
no.
If I go into my son's kindergarten class and find a copy of It by Stephen King,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be like, hey,
It's a little bit inappropriate, no?
yeah, this shouldn't go there. So
Yeah.
there are books for appropriate.
What I do in
age
my
groups.
house is different from what you do in school.
I mean, here's the thing is I was reading books like American Psycho in high school. I think a high school library should
And
be
I turned out fine.
Look at me, kids. I really do think like a high school library should be stocked with. I mean, the problem is that like if you're not allowing high schoolers to open their minds to whatever direction they want, you're leaving them unprepared for the real world. Because one of the things you need to go into the real world with that nobody that's graduating and going into the real world with seem to have is logical opinions. Like nobody gives a fuck what you think when you're that age, especially if your thoughts aren't clear. If you're an 18-year-old and you graduate high school and you go into the real world and you have some sort of head on your shoulders and you know how to talk, even without a college education, you're going to be more successful than your peer that doesn't have that same skill.
Very true.
Like that's the thing is we're not teaching kids to be independent and banning books from like a high school library. I don't care if it's a book where a dude's teaching another dude how to suck him off. At that level, you can process that sort of thing. Hell, most high schools, I think at this point, most of the kids are fucking anyways. When I was in high school after freshman year, most of the kids were fucking. Like, and I can only imagine it's gotten worse.
The big problem is they're not teaching kids how to fail. That's what they're not teaching kids. Like they don't know how to handle failure.
Well, you have schools in Chicago that they're
everything matters.
eliminating the math requirement because math is racist. Somehow.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Equals
Two is
4,
four.
that's racist.
That's
Dude,
racist.
Our mayor is a teacher that has openly, or was a former teacher that has, or Chicago's mayor, not my mayor, that has openly said that he would refuse to fail kids for failing grades because of the oppression in the city.
What?
Yes, that is the thing. That's why when our mayor came out and said that the 200 youths on Michigan Avenue destroying property and going at people was just misguided kids.
No.
He's one of those weird fuckers where he's openly
Brain
said
assholes.
he's quoted as saying he never failed a kid in his class because of systemic racism. And it's like some people need to fail before they can succeed. That's just the way it works. Some people need that cruel slap in the face.
When they fail, they still have to provide the help, and they're not even giving them the help afterwards. So that's their fault.
And here's something fun, kids. Google reading levels across major cities. Because last time I checked, average high schoolers on the south side of Chicago didn't have more than a third grade reading level. How does that happen? How do we pass people through the system if they can't even fucking read past a third grade level in high school? Like, that just shows you the education system itself has failed completely. If you can have a high schooler who doesn't know how to read, the education system has failed.
Verbatim, all those fucking songs that talk about wet ass pussy and all
you're right. If Little Uzi was teaching them their lessons, they would learn it pretty quick. If Lil Pump had a song, yo, we're gonna talk about the Constitution in this song.
That is racist
Right.
whore.
Yeah.
Oh, can't say that.
Yeah, motherfuckers, this song is called Geometry.
My
Solve for
wife
X,
was
bitch.
she was trying to tell me of this one artist the other day, and I had to look him up to figure out how to his name. His name, I guess, is Lil Yachty.
Yes.
Oh
But
no.
she was talking to me. She's like, "Have you ever heard the song by that artist Little Yachty?"
Yachty.
And I'm like, "Who the fuck is that?"
I feel like your wife, in like, very possibly could have been when she was a little girl, one of those little girls that gets kidnapped. Where it's just
Yeah.
like, you have candy? I do. All right, cool.
Yeah. Yep. Pretty much.
What a nice van you have. Oh, I'll never see the light of day again? Like,
Dude, if they have Reese's, I'm getting in that van. I don't care.
oh, dude. So I went to fucking Sam's Club, and like, you know, I'm on a diet. I'm not eating any of that shit. And they have like, I'm in the breakfast area, and for some reason they just have frozen Reese's. Like they're just bigger peanut butter cups that you put in the freezer section now. And dude, every time I see those things to this day, it's still just kind of like, you know, ho, you know, hey, and it fucking zooms right in on it, and it's like,
Turns
like,
to fucking
They're
Elvis.
playing One Winged Angel Sephiroth theme song.
yeah,
every
yeah,
second
it's like
one.
there's flames behind me, and I'm just looking at the Reese's, and then it's like ends with me going, no, that's terrible, and I walk away, like every time. Like you have no idea how shitty I feel when I'm in Sam's Club, and I notice that not only do they don't sell Brisk Zero. Apparently Brisk Zero exists, but I've never seen it. But I go to Sam's Club, and not only do they have a 36 count of regular full-powered Brisk, but they also have a variety pack of Brisk raspberry tea, fruit punch, and some other flavor. And I just want one sugar-free version. Like, and I can't even get that, but they've got two fucking types, technically 4 types of Brisk in the store at all times, except the one I want. Hey, do you like Mountain Dew? We don't have sugar-free Mountain Dew, but we've got a 36 count of regular Mountain Dew. And guess what? Baja Blast. Wait, did you say you needed 2 liters of regular Mountain Dew? No, I said Mountain Dew soda or zero sugar. Yeah, we don't have that. Sorry.
Are you to the point where if you do have that sugar thing, you just feel it coursing through your veins?
Oh yeah, dude. I very much have turned into. Have you ever played the South Park games?
No.
Yeah,
So the
they're
South Park
great.
games had one of the kid is Captain Diabetes, and one of his powers is he eats a chocolate bar and then like goes all fucking crazy. But what is weird is real food, because I only eat once a day, and real food when I first eat, I get this weird like you know when Schwarzenegger's being like moved into the Total Recall like seat and he's kind of just looking around. That's how I feel, because my whole body, you do feel the blood sugar kind of spike and then start to regulate. So when you're eating, you get hit with like this immediately, like, oh yeah, food, motherfucker. And then 10 minutes later, I'm in the chair just like, oh, god damn it. Like, because my blood sugar is now dropped. It's weird, but I've been dealing with it. But yeah, dude, my wife bought a fucking Minute Maid 20-ounce bottle of lemonade the other day, and there's 67 goddamn grams of sugar in it.
Oh my god.
Like, I don't agree with Europeans and their fucking, like, banning of things as far as what people consume. But I do have to ask, why are we allowing that on the market? Like, you mean to tell me you couldn't make that 67 grams of sugar be 30? And the answer to the question is you do it because because you've addicted people to sugar so much that if you brought the amount of sugar down in your beverage, people would say it doesn't taste the same and they'd stop drinking it.
That's true.
So you've literally put out poison on the market, and you can't even make your poison better for people, because if you did, they wouldn't drink it anymore because it's not poison enough for them.
I drink the sugar-free Mountain Dew energy drinks, and the one time I was out, and the gas station only had Monster, non-sugar-free. Dude, I felt like I did blow. Like I was like riding a rocket.
Yeah, dude. Then the crash is literally worse than man. I will say, insulin's nothing to fuck with. Every time I was on insulin for a couple months, and every day I woke up, I felt like I was hungover. Like, insulin is not something you want to be on. Like, if you're a fat person that just found out you have diabetes, you got the sugars, your goal should be do whatever you can to get off that insulin immediately, because you feel so much better off of insulin. Like, once I got off of insulin, I felt so much fucking better. Dude, it didn't matter how many hours in a day I slept. When I was on insulin, fucking waking up every morning, I felt like I had a hangover. I could go to bed at 10 p.m. and wake up at fucking noon, and my body was still like, more sleep, please. Like, getting up every morning was like getting up underwater. It was fucking terrible. And that didn't stop until I got off of insulin. It's insane. Insulin makes you fatter too, by the way, which they didn't tell me till I was off of it. Because then once he pulled me off of it, he was like, "Yeah, you'll lose weight faster now." And I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Oh, this shit makes you gain weight." I was like, "What the fuck?" Like, I'm trying to lose weight here to get off of insulin, but the insulin makes you gain weight. It's a circle. Oh, so we have to watch I Now Pronounce You Chuck and Larry soon, because we were at a wedding for Jen's cousin, and the person who was officiating literally starts going into like, love is a circle, and like love is for, and all I could think of was I Now Pronounce You Chuck and Larry, where Rob Schneider is just like, it's a circle, it keeps going, it's not like a square or a triangle with the corners. And that's all I could fucking think of as soon as she started going into that, and I was just like, ugh. Let's get back on task. So before we give scores on The Flash, I want everybody to give me their favorite part of the movie, not necessarily scene, but what they liked most about the film, and then give me what you didn't like about it most, and then your score. We'll start with Giovanni.
I'm sorry, what was the question again?
Cheeseburgers.
No, okay, so I love Michael Keaton as Batman. So I forgive Michael Keaton as Batman in this movie.
I didn't do it. Fucking goddamn. I hate the Stream Deck. I want to break this fucking Stream Deck. I try to use it and it doesn't work. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Randomly do it now.
Yeah. One of these days, I'm just gonna Hulk smash my Stream Deck, and it's either gonna start working flawlessly or break in half. And I'm starting to not care. Sorry, go on.
The
It might be
Supergirl
user
in this movie, I think she would be great in her own movie. To be honest with you, I think she did a phenomenal job as Supergirl.
She was
I would love
good.
to see. Yeah, I would love to see her own movie. The CGI was terrible.
Dude,
the
every time his
story-
head, like, there was the one scene where, like, it was at the end where they show his body from a top down, and his head just looked like it was kind of like floating
Well,
on
because
top of
I
it.
guarantee what happened was they put the helmet on him, and they're like, "We're just going to CG your body." Like, I guarantee that's what they did.
Yeah.
So the only
Yeah.
thing that was real was his face and the helmet.
Well, just like
That
the
was
scene
it.
where his head pops through, and it looks like literally they were just, no, we're gonna put this green screen sheet on your fucking body, and you just need to go like this, and we got the rest. Don't worry, we got a crack CGI team. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
I thought
Straight
the
outta high
fighting was
school.
really well. Choreography was really well.
All of our CGI
Um,
artists are from the DeVry Institute. We're golden. ITT Tech is in the other wing.
But man, the fact that this movie pulled from Flashpoint and knowing how badass that story really is probably the most disappointing part.
I will
whole
say,
movie.
I know this isn't about this, but one of my favorite things from the Batman Beyond episodes is when he's fighting Joker, and Joker's like getting pissed off because Batman Beyond's just like not feeding into his bullshit, and then you hear old Bruce Wayne in his earpiece is like, he tries to get under your skin, don't let him, and he's just like, I'm good, and he's fucking like doing the Batman thing to Joker, and Joker's just getting pissed off because he's insulting his jokes. Stop doing that! And he's like trying to fight him.
That's all I got. I got nothing else.
What's the score you want to give it? Yeah.
Oh, this is a 2.
That was quick.
Yeah, this is a 2.
Alex, what about you? Best, worst, and then your score.
For me, I did like the Michael Keaton parts. I'm sorry, Giovanni. I did like Michael Keaton, what he was doing in there.
I did too. I said I love Michael Keaton.
The only
I did said you forgave him for it.
No.
the only Michael
I said
Keaton
that
I
because
did.
Anthony doesn't like Michael Keaton at his age as Batman.
Oh,
I really-
love
I
Michael
think
I
he
did-
did a good job.
I didn't
though.
like the Michael Keaton bearded scene because once again you got two berries in it and the whole scene is goofy as fuck.
Yeah.
Spaghetti.
Yeah,
Um,
it's yeah. Ugh.
So I did like the Michael Keaton scenes. But as far as what I really did not like about it was the CGI, was the worlds colliding in each other. Everything that was in that little universe thing, how the little bubble, how shitty it looked. That was just like really bad for me. And Ezra Miller should not have really been in this movie. It should have been somebody different. They should have pulled fucking this guy from WWE.
I've never even watched the Flash TV show, and I would have rather had that guy as Flash simply because Ezra Miller's a cultist piece of shit.
They should have just did some kind of work around it. And I did like Supergirl's parts too. I did like her stuff, and the whole thing for the Soviet Union. I like how they played into the whole fucking red Superman shit.
Oh, Alex likes the Soviet Union.
Fucking
No, I
commie.
just like how they played into that.
Time
so
to get
for
some
me,
McCarthyism up in this bitch.
It's gonna be like a 2.5 for me though. I did like it. I overall I did like the story of it. It did touch a lot of shit from the
Yeah, the
comics
little
fantasy.
pieces that actually made sense.
Yeah, so I did like that shit. But yeah, 2.5. Dogs.
Lewis, I'll have you go, and then I'll go. I don't know why I said it that
I mean,
way.
since everyone brought up the CGI, I'll just bring up two set pieces. Obviously, I loved the Ben Affleck Batman set piece as well as the later Michael Keaton ones. Although my problem with Michael Keaton is it's like I love the Batman movies and seeing him be as old as he is in this movie and seeing action, it was just like uncanny valley. But
And
the
he
thing,
still couldn't move his neck.
Yeah, they
He's
kept
in
the
his
same.
70s.
They kept the same outfit too. It didn't make any
So-
sense.
He's in his
So
70s,
there's-
right?
I think
there's
so.
there's a scene in this movie that made me fucking like I have not laughed out loud.
Oh,
As
where he
bad
turns
as
to
they did.
him in the old bat outfit. Yeah, yeah.
Yes. I
That was
was
funny, yeah.
I was drinking and I almost spit my drink out. But the set piece in here, it's a shame that it doesn't work. In every comic book movie, there's the beginning set piece, and regardless of the CGI being terrible, the set piece of Barry Allen saving the babies it was so
Dude, that
like, even
CG
if
in
the
that scene was really
It was
goddamn
horrible, too,
awful.
horrendous.
Oh, it was terrible, but it also wasn't a good opener. Like
No.
it didn't establish Barry Allen as someone interesting.
Well, when
Um,
you have a movie, let's compare it to this. Compare every Flash hero scene in this movie. Like, let's compare the opening to the Flash's own movie to the X-Men scene where you first meet, what's his face? Magneto's son.
Quicksilver.
Quicksilver.
Yeah.
In the X-Men Days of Future Past, or whatever that X-Men was when you first meet him. That scene is not only better written, funnier, looks better. And how old is that movie?
Well, not only that, Quicksilver running in slow-mo is how you do it.
Yep.
That was perfect. But yeah, so for a review, I can't give this higher than a 2.5, and that's me being generous. Um, the cardinal sin with the Flash is you can't have a Flash movie without Green Lantern in it. It has to be buddy cop. Ezra Miller. I don't know why. Like in 2023, somehow past the Me Too movement and the canceling
How did
someone
he-
for
how did he
sneezing in the
not get
wrong
canceled?
direction.
I don't
How
get
did
it
this
either.
guy? It doesn't make any sense.
How do you keep a
And
job?
and the can't refilm scenes bullshit. People have been canceled for fart in the wind, and things have changed financially. So yeah,
muted.
It was
2
Kevin
2.5.
Spacey who filmed an entire movie with Mark Wahlberg and then was removed after his allegations
Yep.
came out and refilmed with
Yeah.
somebody else.
Even if none of those arguments work, DC is notorious for refilming.
And didn't
Notorious for
they
it.
also do that for Back to the Future with Eric Stoltz?
Yep, most of Back to
Yeah.
the Future 1 was filmed with him, and they went back and refilmed every shot with Marty McFly, or with Michael J. Fox.
It's funny
Michael
because of
J.
the Eric
Fox,
Stoltz
Yeah.
reference in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't go higher than a 2.5. I am glad I got to see this movie. I think it's gonna be a cult classic for how terrible it is, but I still think this movie should have never existed.
Agreed.
Yeah, my biggest pro on it is I think the stuff that has nothing to do with Barry Allen and the Flash in this movie works decently well. But my con connects to the same thing because everything they do in this movie is nothing more than you can't even call it an homage to Snyder. It's more or less a ripoff of what Snyder does. And the biggest con is because it's a ripoff and it's not done nearly as well. A lot of the times in these, even in the big action scenes, I'm left there thinking Snyder would have done this better. If you ousted Snyder from the universe, why would you bring people in to replicate his style? Why are we going back to Snyder's stories? Why are we doing all this stuff connected to what he created and we're not doing it as well? I think the cameos were useless. Christopher Reeves and Nicolas Cage had no reason to be in this movie whatsoever. And I understand it's like, oh, but it's them. But they had no impact on the story in any way, shape, or form. And that's the problem. The writing isn't great in this movie. The dialogue between the two Barrys throughout the movie is cringe level. Michael Keaton as Batman. I do like seeing him as Batman again, but Lewis is right. There's only so much. I mean, Michael Keaton, you want him as Batman again? No problem. Do the Batman Beyond story, make him older Bruce Wayne. You don't need him in the cape and the cowl anymore. He needs to be older Bruce Wayne, and you need to do a Batman Beyond storyline. That's how you utilize him. Having him come into this movie just like Supergirl and then get wiped out, I thought was useless. I thought it was a very stupid decision to bring him back, bring in Supergirl for the first time on screen in a film just to murder them. The storyline's a bummer. Nothing is happy about this storyline. Like, even the ending where you find out his father's now being acquitted because he had to look up to get the tomato sauce.
Still doesn't learn his lesson, yeah.
He doesn't learn his lesson, and then now we're left with what? There is no DC universe. There is no furthering this storyline. The last time you see Aquaman, he's a drunken buffoon. Meanwhile, he's still got a movie that's just hanging out there. Like, literally, they talked about
reset the universe, right?
That's what I
thought.
thought.
Was the whole point.
And they talked about, like, in Aquaman removing Amber Heard. I heard more about that than I heard about removing this asshole because he was a cult leader, fucking pervert.
And all she did was shit on a pillow.
In her private marriage, on top of it, like, don't get me wrong, the bitch is kooky, but what she did was within her own marriage. This guy, stringing along people that were reported as kidnapped and all sorts of weird fucking and beating women and
homes.
Like, the guy's just a
Stealing
piece of
alcohol,
shit. If you're gonna get canceled for anything, his behavior. And I'll put it this way: I don't want to get political, but if it was Chris Pratt in that role doing the behavior of Ezra Miller because of his beliefs, he would have been ousted.
I wonder if it got so high that someone way above WB was like, Ezra, we are going to unalive you.
Yeah, right.
Like Epstein, if you don't.
Yeah, if you don't get on
obey.
these carpets and do some goddamn press for us, you're not going to be Flash. Hell, you won't be alive. We're the goddamn Hollywood machine, motherfucker. They just hire Bert Kreischer to threaten people.
Oh,
To Matt's review point, I would love to see, and this is for all superhero movies, the retired superheroes. Old Man Cap, Old Man Bruce, Old Man Superman. Like, those
Old Man
stories
Cap.
are
Well, we got old man
Cap.
Cap, and the motherfucker looked like Joe Biden in Endgame. He came out there talking about how skeleton or ice cream doesn't have bones and shaking ghost hands and shit. We didn't get a cool old Captain America. We got doddering Joe.
He just saluted and walked away.
It's a pretty good life. Are you my son?
I think Hancock was a good view of like how a retired superhero would have been.
I liked Hancock. I really did.
Hancock was
I
really
thought the
good,
story on that movie was pretty good too, and the idea of like it's a love story. Realistically, it's
Yeah.
just a really fucked up love story.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
There's so many old man superhero stories and comics that are fucking amazing. They're badass.
Well, look at what was it?
They can totally do it.
Was it Warrior Hulk on Planet
Oh,
Hulk, the one with the
yeah.
beard and the bald head and shit? The Stone Cold Steve Austin Hulk.
Where
That's what I mean.
where he's talking about bring back. I forgot who met him, but he's talking about bring back Bruce Banner, and the Hulk is like, Bruce Banner died a long time ago.
See, that's the thing is why is
just the Hulk?
By the way, my score for this movie is a 2. The parts with Barry Allen are cringe and boring. There's not enough action to sustain the otherwise boring rest of the movie. The cameos you get on the Superman spectrum are useless, and Michael Keaton as Batman was underutilized and too goofy. In this scene where he goes, "You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts." I'm not even joking. They set it up so much so that you knew it was coming. I hadn't even seen the scene, and before he said it, I said it. And Jen looked at me like, "Really?" She's like, "You saw that, right?" And I was like, "No, I just fucking knew it was coming because it has to."
That was his greatest scene as Bruce in the original movie.
As Bruce went, "You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts!" And it's like, "Calm down, Mr. Mom." That was the problem. Well, that was the problem with Michael Keaton as Batman. Is everybody was like, "You're casting Mr. Mom as fucking Batman?" Like, really?
Yeah.
Like that was a hard sell for them to cast him in that movie. The studios did not want him as Batman. He was very much, no, you're Mr. Mom, you're Beetlejuice, you're not Batman.
Was it his movie where he was the also like Batman DJ?
Oh, I don't even know.
Because with all the Prince music was all in his movies, right?
Prince was the first Batman. Like most of the soundtrack was made by Prince.
He like cuts. He does a little scratching.
I wouldn't be. Yeah, the bat dance.
Yeah.
When people think of Michael Keaton, they think Beetlejuice and Batman and all this cool shit.
Are you talking about Duplicity? What is it called?
Multiplicity.
Multiplicity, yeah.
Hey man,
I love that movie.
There's a badass movie starring Michael Keaton that nobody talks about, and it's
where he's the home, or he rents the fucking duplex.
No, Duplicity is the one where he gets cloned.
No, where he rents a duplex.
I love Duplicity.
No, I'm talking about Desperate Measures. It's him and Andy Garcia.
Yeah.
He is a death row inmate, and Andy Garcia is a detective, and his son is sick, and they find out that Michael Keaton's bone marrow can save his life. So Michael Keaton makes a deal to go through the operation and then escapes. So the whole movie is like Andy Garcia trying to capture Michael Keaton to save his own son's life. And to the point where like the way he escapes is he breaks his own thumb to slip through the cuffs. Like he's a maniacal, like mass murderer, like crazy. And like, it's one of those movies where at the end of the movie, he's kind of like, well, if I'm going to die anyways, let's save your kid sort of thing. But the movie is pretty fucking badass and nobody mentions it. It came out like 97, probably around the same time as like Conspiracy Theory and those sorts of those, like, there was a weird period in the late 90s where celebrities were doing weird movies. Like Conspiracy Theory is a weird movie for Mel Gibson to do. Saving Private Ryan was a weird movie for Tom Hanks to do. Like there was a moment in the late 90s where celebrities were just like, I'm going to do movies that are way out of my typecasting. And I think you see that with even Keaton as Batman was the same thing. What were the movies he was in the 80s? Mr. Mom, The Dream Team, like all these like Beetlejuice, all these comedies, and then they cast him as fucking Batman, and people were pissed off about it. And here we are, 35 or whatever years later, and people are like, yeah, Michael Keaton is back. And it's like I liked him in this movie, but it didn't work. I would have much rather seen a serious, like if the whole thing is he's retired. And then I also saw a clip
Pacific Heights with him.
I saw a clip where the director had said something along the lines of he wasn't retired because Gotham was safe. He actually ended up retiring because he killed a criminal in front of his kid and then forced the kid to relive everything he relived by killing his father in front of him. And that's why he hung up the gloves or the cowl. Meanwhile, none of that is said in the movie at all.
Yeah, that's. Wonder how many reshoots were in this movie.
Probably a
lot.
lot.
I was talking about was Pacific Heights with Matt Modine and Melanie Griffith.
I don't like Matthew Modine. Like I like him in Full Metal Jacket and like nothing else. Like what else has he been in that's any good? I mean, Pacific Heights. I'm presuming you like that movie, but
there's one that was filmed here in Chicago. He was a wrestler. Oh shit, what was that called?
Modine was a wrestler. His lanky white ass.
Yeah, he was a high school wrestler in high school. But it was filmed at Lakeview High School. I can't remember the name of that shit one.
Couldn't have been that good if you don't remember it. I mean, don't get me wrong. There was movies filmed at my high school. I don't think I've ever even seen The Express.
Wildcats.
I've seen Wildcats. I've never seen The Express, which was apparently filmed in my high school stadium, but it was supposed to be the stadium for a college. Then you've got Keanu Reeves. What was that baseball movie he made in the hood? Like they were
Yeah.
filming off of Cabrini and shit. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't give like I like movies that are filmed in Chicago, like Blues Brothers, or if I'm watching a movie and I'm like, oh shit, that's supposed to be Chicago. Cool.
Vision Quest. That's what it was called.
Is that what? Do you guys remember what the Disney thing was called? Was it just Disney Quest that was downtown? That giant
Yeah, it was
arcade they
Disney
had.
Quest.
Fuck, I never got to go there because my parents were cheap. My dad would literally drive past it and go, "Hey, that's Disney Quest," and I'd be like, "Can we go?" And he's like, "Nah, ain't gonna happen. I just wanted to show you the building." It's like, what the fuck's the point, you dick? We would be in the back seat, like, "When can we go?" And he'd just be like, "We're not going." And it's like, why are you driving me? Like, you make like, I'm sorry, but if I was like as a kid and your parent points out something and you don't know where you're going, you automatically think like, oh shit, are we going there? And he would just be like, nah.
Going around the block.
Yeah. Hey, there it is again. You're not going in, but
because we're going to the other place across. the
yeah,
street.
yeah. No, I'm just here to go to the fucking to get my license renewed across the street. No,
They've got a sale on ham radio.
Instead of going to Disney Quest, you're gonna sit in the car for an hour and a half and be bored. Oh, great! That's and like I think Disney Quest was like $50 too. It was like $50 for like an all day pass. It wasn't even that expensive. He only had 2 fucking kids. Like, come on. We're both over here like, yeah, man, there's so many arcades. And he's like, I'd pay for high-speed internet. You got plenty of games at home. And it's like, the fuck is this
Meanwhile,
world?
You have to plug in your phone.
This fucking boomer over here. Well, the whole reason we ended up getting high-speed was because Tim and I, Battlefield 1942 came out. And we were just like, we wanted to fucking play it. So you needed, anything was high-speed compared to a modem. Like, I don't know what high-speed was back then, but it was the minimum you needed to play games online properly. And that was the only reason we got it. I think we begged him and like convinced him with something else, like, but then you'll be able to download shit faster too. Like it was just a whole fucking. He finally relented.
You can use LimeWire even easier, Dad.
Oh god, no, he hated me going on those sites. Like I couldn't use LimeWire because it would give you fucking spyware all the time. So I ended up using MIRC Merc, which literally was like DOS command prompt, where you were requesting the file specifically from whoever was uploading it, and then you would download the full album, and it would be missing songs. Songs would have different levels of audio. Like you'd get one that's too loud and then one that's too quiet for no reason. There'd be porn in them. That was the wild west of bootlegging. Nowadays, throw on the VPN, go to a website, and download. You're fine. Back then, it was like, well, I'm going to have to wait 2 days for the album to download, and then you get it on your fucking mini disc player,
And it's not the right
and you
one.
go to listen to the song, and you're like, what the fuck? Or you'd find porn in there, and back in the day, my dad would check my computer, so then it was like, oh shit, I got to delete that, because if he finds it, he's going to think I downloaded porn. Dude, it fucking, that, I mean, yeah.
You get the album in this fucking Smash Mouth instead of Metallica.
Oh yeah, you would get like
R.I.P.
two normal, yeah, fuck that guy.
Yeah.
Fuck him. I'm sorry, your addictions killed you. Okay, the problem with a guy like that is had he never been a celebrity, he probably would still be alive. Like if he just worked at Burger King his whole life, he probably never would have developed the addictions he did and probably would still be alive. Like if that dude just worked retail, sure he'd probably hate his life, but he'd probably still be alive. Like realistically, if it wasn't for his fame and money, he wouldn't have had fucking liver psoriasis or whatever. Is it cirrhosis or psoriasis?
Psoriasis of the liver.
Psoriasis of the liver at his age. Like remember when that video came out of him like 6 months ago, like accosting a fan in the front row, and he was just trashed, and that's when they announced that like he was retiring.
Well, I thought he was done for 2 years. I thought he was left out.
Whenever that video came out, that was the last time anybody saw his ass because he disappeared. And then
he was
next
let
time
go
he
2
shows
years
up
ago.
as his fucking rip. Fuck him. Fuck him. Him and Mitch McConnell.
Glitch McConnell.
Fuck.
Glitch.
I'm one more time from him staring off into the phantom realm away to start picketing or something. Like what is going? You ever see those videos like the security cam footage they show from like?
Mitch McConnell edits are amazing.
Well, you ever see the security cam footage of people like staring into the sky and then like just collapsing? Like that's gonna happen to him at some point. It's just going to be live on fucking TV.
Oh my god.
Or like
then
the
there's,
fainting ghost. He gets scared.
what
He
is it?
fucking falls over.
What's the other one? Diane Feinstein.
Oh, and yeah,
She
she's
looks
in.
like
I'm sorry,
she
but
looks
in
like
order to
the,
get these people to vote, we have to remove them from their crypt. It's enough.
she looks like the worm they wheel in the wheelchair in SpongeBob. He's like, chocolate. He's selling chocolate.
Well, then what I really don't like is people that are giving like those people's votes on behalf of them. And it's like if you need somebody to cast your ballot for
Yeah,
you,
you're done.
you get the fuck
Yeah,
out. Like
That's it.
get out. I think a fair age is 70. If you have to be 35 to be a president, let's double that. You can't serve in any office after 70. I think that's a fair number.
The whole ageist argument is bullshit. Yeah, there needs to be a cutoff.
It's not
There absolutely
ageist.
needs to
The
be a
new
cutoff.
minds need to be brought in. Like that's one of the problems we have is our entire system relies upon old thought. We like the generations need to like that. The problem is that argument is basically saying, okay, well then we should allow one generation to control 4 generations because somebody like Feinstein has been in office since she was 30 and she's I don't know
They can't even
1,000
figure out the
now.
internet. They can't even figure out how to use the internet.
Like
right
that's
now.
it. Yeah, that's the thing
Yeah,
is like you have people in office that probably have old, very racist mindsets, but they keep it under wraps. Why do they have old racist mindsets? Because they're in their fucking 80s. It's just how it goes. Like, get these old bastards out. It's not ageist. You're still gonna get a fucking paycheck. You're still gonna be retired from the government and get your fucking whatever salary for being a senator the rest of your goddamn life. It's not ageist. You are too old to serve competently. And every time I see Mitch McConnell with his
And sometimes he does the.
yeah, well then
It's like,
you ever notice
dude,
Biden does that too, where Biden will get into a thought process and then it just turns into Mr. President, huh? Popcorn pop. Well, then Mitch McConnell, that woman's next to him, and she's just like, "Did you hear the question?" And he's just like, "No, he didn't."
We're gonna give him a
Yeah,
minute.
I don't think he's heard
No, he
anything for
doesn't
the
need a
past
minute.
15 seconds except his loved ones from hell calling to him.
He's too busy staring into the abyss, and the abyss is staring back.
Right? Like it's a lot like remember the movie Frighteners? Where the guy's just staring into the white glow that's taking him to heaven. He's just
God, yeah.
huh. And then he fucking falls over and dies. Like, can we get him out? He's too old. I'm sorry. Bye. If you tried to show him the Flash, he would seizure and die. Because there is a lot of flashing in the Flash. We haven't talked about that. The whole movie is every action scene is like, don't even try to focus on what's going on because nothing is on screen for more than a split second. All right, we've given our scores. That's all you fucking get. Thank you for watching. A little bit of a weird segue. We'll be back in a couple weeks for sure. We'll see what's going on with next week. See if Alex and I want to formulate something. I think Giovanni might be joining us soon for more episodes too. So we'll get that all figured out. Flash was a big one. I wanted to see it and see how big of a disaster it was. We also still at some point do have more Tarantino movies. It's just I've been trying to wait for the Kill Bill 4K releases before we do those. So that's what we're kind of holding on for now. Jackie Brown is available again. I bought it. So that is one we can go back to that we didn't get a chance to.
Nice.
Well, we'll get it figured out, everybody. Thank you for hanging out with us. Thank you for watching. We'll see you guys on the next episode.
Bye.